From the Ticats Audio Network, this is Ticats Today with Brayden Neville.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Ticats Today for this Wednesday, August the 23rd, 2023. On today's episode, we hear from Coach O on a very wet day of practice. Casey Sayles talks about defending this Lions offense. I catch up with Bailey Feltmate, and we also hear from CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie in his interview with Ticats Audio Network's very own RJ Broadhead. But first, let's get to some news around the team. It was a slippery one out there today. The rain came down hard at Ticats practice, and at one point the team had to enter the locker room after lightning was seen in the area. That didn't hold them back. They came back pretty quickly after that and finished off the rest of practice on the scheduled time. And honestly, it looked like guys were having a little bit of fun out there practicing in the rain. It seemed like they were just making the best of some terrible weather. I was happily watching from the press box today. I didn't feel like having to towel off after practice, but one guy who wasn't afraid to get wet was Coach O, and he spoke about the rainy practice today. Right, Coach, it was a wet practice out there today. Yeah. How was it playing in the rain today and getting a little wet there?
Yeah, it is what it is. We haven't had that all year, so everybody, they adjusted. I think the person that was ready the most would be Drew. I'm talking Stroshine. He was prepared with the jackets. But other than that, it's good. You never know. Obviously, this week it's not going to affect us, but you never know when it's going to affect us. Plus, it helps you be mentally prepared and to lock in.
It almost looked like the guys were having a little bit of fun out there in the rain. Was that kind of the vibe you were getting there from practice?
I think that part of the fun is day 3 is a little shorter, so I think they enjoy that part. But, yeah, I think it was different. And, but at the end of the day, it's about our ability to focus and concentrate consistently.
Now, coming up in this game, you're facing two receivers, Whitehead and Hollins, who had an excellent game last week. Just how do you plan on defending them in that secondary, having that two-headed monster on the receiving corps for them?
Well, if you defend them, you might not defend the other ones. And so they're pretty well-rounded. They're rolling. They're going to give those receivers opportunities to make plays. They've, won a bunch of big ball games. They're playing at home. They're coming off a loss. They'll be ready to go. But that's why you play the game. The build-up is fun. I don't know that you shut those guys down. If they want to get them the ball, they can get them the ball. They do a good job of moving people around. We just got to be sound in what we do. We got to keep them contained, keep them off the scoreboard, and be sure tacklers.
And these longer trips to BC, you have the time change and all that. Is it kind of like the preparation a little different when, like, you go down a little earlier? Is it almost affected a little bit more?
Yeah, I think when you travel out west, there's always that factor. That's just the truth. But you know what? It's on the schedule early. We'll go out there a little bit earlier. Go out there after practice tomorrow and just try to get acclimated a little bit. We did, I think this is the first time I've played a 4 o'clock game out there, and I don't even remember the last time. So that helps out a little bit for us. But other than that, when they kick the ball off, none of that matters. It's a football game, and we're going out there to win.
That was Coach O. Now, before I continue with the show, I want to remind Ticats fans that the team has announced the Labor Day Classic Guaranteed 50-50 draw has officially been launched. This year's prize is a guaranteed $50,000 jackpot. That's right, $50K. Who couldn't use an extra 50 G's? So to go get your tickets, go to Ticats5050.com. Options for tickets are 3 for $5, 10 for $10, 60 for $20, and 150 for $30. I think the return on investment on a $50,000 win on a $30 bet is pretty good. There will also be an early bird prize draw for a pair of Grey Cup tickets on Friday, September 1st, and that's at 8 p.m. Who couldn't use an extra 50 G's? I know I could. Now, Casey Sayles, he spoke to me today about playing in the rain and gearing up for that battle against the BC Lions. Right, Casey, it seems like the team's gotten pretty lucky this summer with not having rain during practices. Today, it seemed like it all came at once. Just how was it out there today on a little bit of a wetter day than normal?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. We had a quick hour practice real quick with shorter periods and just kind of keeping our legs under us. But, it's just another thing for diversity-wise that we kind of got to get past. And same thing happened during the Edmonton game. Long halftime, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it was. But same thing, we kind of, I thought we came out firing that second half. And, yeah, just adversity thing kind of, just got to refocus once that kind of happens because everyone, kind of gets out of their head a little bit. But, I thought end of practice was pretty good. So, yeah.
Now, watching practice today, it almost seemed like you guys were embracing the rain a little bit. It seemed like there was some fun being had out there. Was that kind of the feeling you were getting?
Yeah. I mean, we don't have grass field out there, so there's no mud or anything. Can't be rolling around. But, you just got to embrace a little bit. And just think during football, obviously, kind of weather's changing now. Got August coming September, and it'll start getting cold. And, knowing where we are now in the country, there will be some good storms and wind howling through the stadium. So, it's just got a little thing that you just got to get used to, and weather is what it is. So.
Now, there won't be any rain at this weekend's game. That's guaranteed. Now, you're playing against a quarterback like Vernon Adams, a guy who's had an excellent season so far. He puts up big yardage games every single game. Just what do you need to do to throw him off early in this game here?
Number one is stop and run. That's always the thing I say that, at least as a D-line, that's our number one goal. And then, from there, pressure quarterback, kind of work our moves that kind of been practicing all week against our O-line. And, that's about it. That's all we can do is our job every play, and just communicating to each other. But, number one thing, stop and run, pressure quarterback, and usually kind of works out in our favor and helps the linebackers and DBs pretty well if we do that. So.
Now, when he's mobile and he's healthy, he's a very mobile dual-threat quarterback. Just how do you defend against a guy who can both run and throw the ball, especially a guy like Brayden Adams?
Yeah, it makes it difficult. It's really just kind of cage rushing. If we're going to end up pressuring the quarterback, make sure that we're even on all of our rushes. If there's 4 guys, 2 guys each side. If there's 5th guy coming, have that kind of apex guy in the middle that kind of balances out. Same thing as 6, 7, 8 guys. You just got to balance it out at the end of the day. So there's no pox that he can escape from. But he can get out. He's shifty. And he's shown on film that he's a good athlete, and the record shows for that too. So
now, when they have these 3-hour, like the time change here with BC, and it's a little bit of a weird one, like going over there and the time of the game and everything. Just what are you doing to get your mind right? Is there something you have to do to kind of adjust to being in that different time zone, or is it pretty normal for you?
It's first time going out there. Obviously, being in Hamilton, I never had to adjust anything. Being in Winnipeg the last 2 years, obviously being in the middle of the country, so it wasn't too bad then. But probably the only thing I can think of is trying to just get your sleep and everything kind of coordinated. Going out there 2 days early, kind of acclimate for that. But besides that, I think that's the only thing in my mind that you got to get used to. But it shouldn't be too bad. Obviously, travel is, it's not fun, it's not ideal, but just another adversity thing you got to get used to, and just kind of say it is what it is. So, just kind of sleep for me and kind of getting that on time and just get ready for game day. So.
And then a last question here: just what does this defense need to do as a whole to maintain them here and hopefully help to get a win here against BC?
Just play together, communicate. Just play each play as the rules that we play as, and obviously stop the explosions, run and pass wise. Obviously, there's few looking back at film plays that 2 or 3 that explosion wise each game that I wish we could have back, and then it's made differences for a lot of those games. It's that 1, 2, 3 plays that makes it a big difference at the end of the game, and that can include penalties as well. Obviously, that punt return that we had scored on last game was huge for us. We had two that play. So that's another thing is get those explosions down, run and pass wise, and also just no penalties. But just playing together and just playing ball. Obviously, I thought we had a great week of practice. Started a little bit early with the travel, so a little bit more meetings once we get there and stuff. But it'd be nice to get out there early and get used to the time zone and everything, and a little bit more meetings. So.
That was Casey Sayles. He seems more than ready to get going in BC. And like he said, it'll be the first time he experiences that 3-hour difference in BC. So it'll be interesting to see how Casey's feeling when I talk to him following the weekend. Now, Bailey Feltmate sat down with me today. I feel like it's been a few months since I spoke to the fullback, and I just wanted to catch up with him a bit just to see how things are going with him. All right, I'm joined now by Bailey Feltmate. Bailey, a little bit of a wet practice today. It was a rainy one out there today. Just how was it playing? And I think what seems like one of the only practices you've had all year in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of similar to the game, and like we all say, like we wish for it. We wanted it to happen because it's adversity we have to go through. So it was great.
Now, a lot of the guys that looked like they were kind of having a good time out there. I don't know if that was the vibe I was getting. Were you having fun out there?
Totally. Energy was high. We have to keep it high all the time, especially on game day. Everybody's locked in, so.
Now, you guys are traveling to BC, a little bit of a time change. On those long travel days, what's your routine like normally?
Usually, I make sure I definitely try and get a lot of sleep the day before, and with this travel time being a little later, I can maybe take a nap before we do leave.
Yeah.
Staying hydrated on the plane is going to be huge because I think a 5-hour flight.
Yeah, it's a good trek.
Good trek. Making sure you're eating, drinking good enough water, and then if you can rest on the plane too. But yeah.
Are you listening to podcasts or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, I usually listen to podcasts. I'll probably download 3 or 4, and then I'll usually listen to music and read my book for the flight.
Which podcast you listen to? Gordo said he's a big Joe Rogan guy. What are your pods right now?
I don't mind. I like listening to a couple of Joe Rogans. Recently, I've just been listening to Jay Shetty's podcast and the Bad Friends podcast for some comedy.
I listen to the Bad Friends podcast too. They're good. They're Bobby and Andrew. They're hilarious together.
So funny.
So kind of a little bit comedy, a little bit of everything. Now on a travel day, especially when you're going to BC, you guys are going to have a little bit of time kind of to maybe do something. I don't know what that may be. What are you planning on? Do you have any plans to do anything?
I mean, Vancouver's beautiful, so just going around, being by the water. Like, I'm an East Coast kid, so being by the water, hanging out with the guys before the game, going out to eat is probably what we'll do. Just being able to be out in Vancouver is just nice.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful city.
Being an East Coast kid, I was just talking about this with RJ Broadhead, but there's this new thing where you can swim with sharks now in the East Coast. Have you heard about that?
No, I haven't.
Is that something you'd be interested in doing?
I mean, if I was in a cage, maybe, for sure.
You're in a cage. I don't think they're just putting you on a string.
They'd definitely be doing that.
But I was just talking with RJ about that. But, okay, so on a travel day, you're listening to podcasts, you're doing all this stuff. Now, mentally, to get yourself prepared for the game, what's your pre-game ritual? Do you have a ritual or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm usually so in the mornings, I usually do the same thing, go for a walk, get a coffee. I usually don't drink coffee until game day. And then I'll do a lot of meditation throughout the day.
Yeah.
Big into that. And then just kind of getting my mind right, look over a few notes, staying hydrated again, make sure I eat a lot of food that day, just so that I'm not getting tired come to game time.
Now, meditation, is that something you've always kind of done, or is that a new thing for you?
It's probably been 3-4 years since I actually delved into it big time. But yeah, it's just been super helpful with keeping me focused and making me feel kind of like prepared for the game. And in life too.
Yeah, no, I can see it. And you know what? That's one thing I've always thought to myself, like maybe it would chill me out, like I wouldn't be as crazy in traffic, or I would be more relaxed. It's something I've always thought about personally. I think who's the other guy who does it? James Butler is also a meditation guy. Do you guys ever kind of trade like secrets or tricks? Or
I know I've talked to James about that. We just talked about like what kind of meditation we've done, how long we do it, because I know when you first start meditating, it's a long process in the sense like you won't be doing it for long.
Yeah,
because if you're doing breath meditation, then you can't. It's hard to focus on solely your breath for even 5 minutes. Like if anybody tried to do it for 5 minutes, they're gonna have struggle, and that's the whole point of it. Yeah, is to be able to like refocus your brain and come back to your breath and have it's like a conversation with yourself. It's nice.
So now I just want to talk about just your season so far. It's a little bit different for you. You're playing fullback for the first time this year. What has that experience been like, just getting used to that and playing at the fullback position, practicing at it every single day?
It's different. I mean, it's nice in the sense where I've been on defense, so I guess I kind of understand what they're trying to do, but now I get to see the other side of the ball. Learning the playbook has obviously been different verbiage, everything, but thanks to the help of all the players, O-line, especially Gigi. He's helped me a lot, and he's my accountability partner, helping me every day. And when I get a rep in there, he'll coach me through it, and same with Coach Rob. So it's been a great transition, and I'm hoping that moving forward I'll get even better every year.
And you and Gigi, I see you guys around each other a lot. Is that a guy you're hanging out with a lot around the room?
Yeah, Gigi is ever since we both got here in 2021 in the hotel, that was the first time we met. We were the first people to actually meet, and then we hung out ever since then.
And then you understand the accent? You're good with all that?
Yeah, I'm bilingual, so
that's true. What am I saying?
We'll talk French together too.
Okay, that's cool. So that's a good way to keep your French skills. You got him to bounce off now.
Exactly.
Scott's come in now. Yeah. Just what has it been like getting to work with him over these last week and a half?
Scott's a great guy. He has a game plan, and I know all the guys are bought in. So it's great to hear what he has to say, and he's very, very approachable, and he coaches us with with great intentions. And, I'm excited to see moving forward and get it going.
Philosophy-wise, he's a very hard-nosed coach. He's coached around everywhere.
Yeah.
He's won at every level.
Experience.
So it's not like it's a guy coming in that's, blind to the league.
Yeah.
So it's good to have a guy like that. Now, playing BC this weekend, a team that's pretty good, coming off a loss just like you guys. What do you need to do on offense to try and get some touchdowns here against this BC defense?
I think we just need to be sound in terms of protection. And then obviously we just need to finish and execute. Like when we're down in the red zone, let's just finish and score.
Yeah.
Get points on the board quick and often, and then we just have to dominate up front for sure, and establish a good run game.
That was Bailey Feltmate. As I've mentioned in my shows this week, the Ticats announced a ton of plans for this year's Grey Cup, and the Ticats Audio Network's very own RJ Broadhead sat down with CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie to discuss the festivities.
It's about bringing people together as Canadians and North Americans to come and see what we are. It's almost like it's like a beacon that shows what our values are, this coming together, neighbor and neighbor. I don't like your team, you don't like my team, but we can stand together shoulder to shoulder and have a cold beer.
Yeah.
That's the Grey Cup, and it's why every Canadian at some point in their life ought to come and be part of one. And you know what? If that's true, which I believe it is, then come to this one, because I think it's going to be special.
Yeah, there's so much going on, over 40 events. You can go to greycupfestival.ca, and more information will be announced as we get closer to Grey Cup. You spurred something in my memory. I recently reconnected with a cousin whom I haven't seen in a long time, and she said she's got a group of friends. Every year they go to the Grey Cup. They plan their holidays around the Grey Cup, and as commissioner, you probably hear stories like that all the time.
I do. It's one of the reasons. I mean, I love Grey Cup for so many reasons. Certainly, to be the person who stands on the podium at the end of the game and to touch the cup and to hand it to this year's champion. That's a moment I cherish it. I'll never take it for granted, and one day I'll miss it when it's somebody else's turn. But what I love, as much as that, what I love is just being with the people and seeing how much they love being at Grey Cup. How many of them come up and tell me how many they've been to, how much it means to them, how many people they come with, their group of friends, and they're all either decked out in the same costumes or they're just dressed, in their regular clothes, but you can tell they've been literally friends for life, and Grey Cup means that to them. That's so special. And then I think about what the plan is this year, and now we get to tell our CFL fans, come to Hamilton. Hamilton is a region, and go drink some ice wine, drink some wine, go to Niagara Falls. Look, my wife and I only live 45 minutes from the falls, and I don't go often enough, but when you go, oh my goodness, you should go once a week to see the falls. True. It's one of the great natural wonders of the world, and I'm excited to be able to say that now. Come to Hamilton for the Grey Cup, but come for the whole thing, because it's going to be amazing.
That was RJ Broadhead and Randy Ambrosie. Now, some more news before we go. 2 members of the Ticats family are being inducted into the Hamilton Sports Hall of Fame, caretaker Bob Young and Ellison Kelly. Now, everyone knows caretaker Bob Young, but if you're unfamiliar with Ellison Kelly, he is an absolute legend of the CFL. He was born in 1935 in Butler, Georgia. He played his collegiate career for Michigan State. Following a stint with the New York Giants, he made his way to the CFL in 1960 to join the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Kelly usually played guard or tackle, but he was very versatile and provided depth at the defensive end and linebacker positions. So the guy could do it all. That's not really something you see anymore in the CFL, and teammates recall him as being a tough, solid competitor even when injured. During his 13-year career, Kelly never missed a game. He played 175 consecutive regular season contests, which is absolutely insane. He was just an absolute Iron Man. He played from 1960 to 1970 with the Ticats and played in 7 Grey Cups, helping Hamilton win it 3 times in 1963, 1965, and 1967. He's already a member of the Hamilton Sports Hall of Fame as a part of the 1967 team, and he is also a member of the CFL Hall of Fame and the Ticats Wall of Honor. He sadly passed away back in 2016, but very deserving of the honor. And of course, Bob Young, what's there to say about Bob that has not already been said? The caretaker is being inducted, and he's so deserving. He's done so much for the city, and honestly, I'm just surprised he wasn't already inducted into the Hall of Fame, and the same goes for Kelly. Two very deserving guys. I wrote an article on both of those guys, and you can find it on the Ticats website. Congratulations to them. One more thing before we go. First Ontario Credit Union has been confirmed as a signature partner of the 2023 Grey Cup Festival. A key component of the partnership includes First Ontario presenting the Grey Cup Festival Volunteer Program with over 1,000 volunteers ready to contribute to the success of the Grey Cup Festival. It takes so many people to make an event like this happen. They'll be supporting several important activities, including greeting attendees, scorekeeping events, and much, much more. First Ontario's Blue Wave employee volunteers will also directly participate in the Grey Cup Festival, demonstrating their commitment to community and promoting the importance of volunteerism. So such an important partnership right there. Now that's all the time for me today. I want to thank you for listening to Ticats Today.